from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of Around the Ropes. And guys, no, we're not doing a regular show. That's going to be tomorrow night. No, we don't have a special interview. No, that's going to be Wednesday. But we have an announcement to make. And I know we've been doing that quite a bit lately here. But I figure as the man who kind of got this whole ball rolling, anytime we have an announcement, I figure we have to let the ATR Nation kind of in on what the heck is going on. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the two guys on. Obviously, you've seen the guy on the bottom before. You see him in our comment section quite often, poking fun at lovely Jeff there. Welcome to the show, the one and only Buffalo Bob. What's going on?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having us tonight, John. It's truly an honor.
I'm glad to have you guys on. And making his debut, actually, and not using Zoom this time, and actually has upgraded to StreamYard. I'm going to call him by his name on his screen, even though I know his actual name. The Ginger Hammer.
Hey, John. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this. I obviously, if many people know, not only is pro wrestling one of my passions, but also it's sports. And I joined you guys probably about a month ago now.
Yeah, it's been about a month.
That sounds about right, yeah.
And I know you guys are currently in hiatus because you guys are currently rebranding everything. But unfortunately, that's one of the perks about doing the wrestling show. There is no time off.
Well, I mean, there's almost no holiday off or any off season in wrestling, I imagine.
No, I'm lucky if I have a show where I don't have an hour's worth of stuff to talk about.
Right. Plus, I know you guys had a pay-per-view, I think, the other night, too.
We had 3 pay-per-views this weekend. Evolution, All In, and Saturday Night's Main Event.
Sweet.
Wow.
So we have a lot of stuff, and obviously I'll go more into it later on as far as what we have coming up this week, because once again, we have a busy week coming up. But Tom, let me throw it to you first. Well, I know you're up in the Buffalo area. That's like another country compared to where we are down here. What got you into being a sports fan and wanting to go into doing what you guys do now?
So I think what it was actually a little over 10 years ago where I just wanted to start, sharing opinions about hockey, and then ultimately ended up meeting Buffalo Bob on one of my former sites that I was running at the time. And we've podcasted together now. We're going on 12 years. So it's we've had a couple different iterations of some shows. We've done post-game shows. We did five years of Buffalo After Dark, which we started in 2019, and we're going to rebrand that for this coming season. And we just wanted to give people a new outlet where you would hear uncensored, unfiltered sports talk. That was really the big thing. And you went in this way, it's really from the fans' point of view and not what you get on TV. And it's actually worked out pretty well. We've had some success with it, and we have a good core following, and we've been able to expand into a bunch of different platforms, and the rest was history. Basically, it just kind of fell into it by accident, but it's something we enjoy.
Yeah, it's funny because he found me, and then I found him later, and we kind of just got really friendly with one another. And I was in the podcast business for a little over 10 years, and I was covering the Bills. I was covering some other sports in between, but I had no right-hand man. I was kind of going solo for a while. And I find this idiot on my website, and he comes up to me and says, "Hey, you want to be my best friend?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then it just became this whole big downward spiral of greatness.
And from there we started podcasting together. I was getting into it on my own, and then I figured, hey, great way to add some new content and new view on everything, and the rest is history. We've been podcasting together ever since.
Believe me, I've been doing this show now for 4 years as of this November.
Wow.
Thank you. Overall, I've been doing podcasting since August of 2011 was when I started. Because I got first introduced, actually even before that, my first introduction to all this was even when I used to walk to, I think it was middle school back in the day, and I used to have a Walkman radio. Now, for anybody who's under the age of 30 and has no idea what the hell I'm talking about, it's called Google, people. Go research it. And I used to listen at the time, coming home, to a little show called Mike and the Mad Dog on WFAN. And that's what got me wanting to do this. And obviously, I had a bunch of failures over the years of different sports shows. I did a baseball show, I did a football show, and they all failed in one way, shape, or form. This was going to be my last go around with Around the Ropes. And I remember, and I've told the story a lot lately. I started the show November 21st, 2021 was the official start date for the show. I turned around and I said, I'm giving the show to the end of the year. If by the end of the year it doesn't produce something, I'm walking away. First show we did was Survivor Series 2021. We did a watch along for it. We had over 2,000 people watching that show. I was like, we have something here. And the show, like you guys, this show has evolved. I mean, this show has had its iterations of co-hosts, but the one thing that's been the constant has been me. Basically, I basically make the joke now. The only way the show ever comes to an end is if I decide to walk away. And right now, that's not in my horizons, not in my plans at all, especially if I decide to. There is a lovely Italian woman who happens to be my girlfriend who lives in Seaford who would kill me right now if I did that. Wow. Funny thing is, as I'm saying that, she's on the woman you just heard was her, and she's on Facebook with me right now. And yeah, so I just had to say that in there. But no, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy having this platform because it gives me the opportunity to kind of talk about, my second passion, which was pro wrestling. Obviously, my first is sports. But again, how many times can you talk about the Jets sucking? Seriously.
Right. Or on our show, how many times the Sabres suck?
Yeah, that's a story in itself. But obviously, we hooked up, the three of us, last month. And I remember initially when Buffalo Bob brought me on, he goes, oh, it's going to be a trial run. I think that trial run lasted an hour. I think that trial run lasted about 10 minutes.
Yeah, because I felt that episode, because for those of you who don't know, John made his debut on Buffalo After Dark. That was the original name of our show, and we've had the show for about 5 seasons. We just canceled. I shouldn't say we canceled it. We just finalized, the entire series as a whole. And John, it was in one of the final 4 episodes around the time of the draft, maybe a week or 2 before the draft. And it was you, and there was another guy named Rush, but he did more of the talking than you did. And I felt so bad. I'm like, I can't control what Brush did at that time. So Tom and I came to the conclusion that we said, you know what, we're probably going to let Brush off the hook. We're going to keep John around because we actually see something in you. And that's kind of something that we kind of just stuck on. And we dialogued and we said, you know what, John's worth keeping, I think.
And I appreciate that. That means a lot. And one thing with me, and you guys see it, obviously on the sports show, I take this stuff very seriously. Yes, I'm not sitting here wearing a suit, reading off a teleprompter, thinking that ESPN is going to call me tomorrow. But I kind of treat both shows very similar. I tell it as is. And you guys both said it before. You guys tell it as is. So I think that's one of the big things, that we work out so well is the fact of, we're not afraid to say something that may, I'm not going to say that's going to piss off somebody because that's easy in New York, but we're not afraid to say something that's not cookie cutter. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, basically something that's not going to be the company line. We're basically coming up with our own opinions, our own thoughts, and that's the great part about what we've been able to build. And that's something we saw in you too, especially when we had you on last month, is just the fact that you're willing to go out there and say what you think and stand for what you think. And it turned out to really work well together. And, it's something where we had you on, I think, even after that too. And same thing, it just, everything flowed really well, and it was definitely what we thought. You're a great addition to what we want to do, and especially now that we're going to cover statewide sports, it's just a natural fit.
I appreciate that a lot. And like you guys see it on the sports show, there are some topics that I don't know anything about. But if you turn around or if like you guys say to me, hey, we're gonna be talking about this, I'll make sure I go to Google and just at least look up and see who they are. Or at least if it's one of those setups of, hey, we're going into hockey now, I can go to NHL.com and be like, okay, just so that I at least have some sort of idea in my head. Because I'm not, believe me, you guys are more of a hockey guys than I am.
Right. I mean, put it this way, because for those who don't know, Tom is a Buffalo Sabres fan. I live in Long Island. I'm in the same neck of the woods as John, but I live in Nassau County. I'm an Islander fan. So we came up with the idea of I-86 not that long ago, and we both said we want to expand the show. So I said to Tom, why don't I go out and find somebody who could potentially kind of help us out down the wire, because we never really approached the idea of a Mets cover, you know what I'm saying? So we tried to find one, and then you came along, and I'm just saying, let's see what this guy is all about. Is he full of shit, or is he, bluffing it? And so I looked into Around the Ropes, which is the first night we met, and I looked at maybe 3 of your episodes, and I said, wow, this guy is very well prepared. He knows what he does. He knows what he knows, and he knows how to ask the proper questions and things like that. And I was really impressed. And I told Tom about it. I said, yo, you should check out this guy. I mean, he's got a pretty good product out here. And, it may not be my cup of tea. I'm not a wrestling fan, but I respect the work, because at least with you, I can at least, keep up to date of oh, this guy's coming on, or this woman's coming on, something like that. I like to be interactive with the fans, so that way that you get the better rating and we get the better rating. And I think it comes off as a win-win in my book.
Yeah, and even thinking about it too, I mean, even though I haven't followed wrestling as much as I used to a few years ago, I mean, it's still always something I've always been interested in, and just listening to the content you've had and the interviews you've had, which I think your interviews have actually been really good. It's just, I think it adds a whole, for what we want to do, it added a whole nother dimension on different things that could work out. And we've actually been sharing your shows with our audience recently too, and have seen some good things come out of it. So it's just one of those things, it's even though I don't talk about wrestling a lot on our show, it's something where I still follow it and still enjoy it. And actually, even throw you way back, 1996 Survivor Series, Psycho Sid. That's all you need to see is that good old entrance with how he was a heel and he still got over with the fans at MSG.
Yep. But I appreciate that. And the one thing with me, when I do the interviews, and I've always said this, I never write out questions. I know in my head, okay, these are the topics I want to get to. These are the bullet points I want to hit. Because I've always, like I said, I've been doing this for a while now. I've always looked at it as, well, if I ask question 1, and then all of a sudden they say something that's interesting, do I want to go, okay, they want something to go, hold on, I'm going to give an example here. Yes, I bring props to the show. I go, okay, and question number 2. Okay, question number 3. I've heard too many shows over the years that have done that. And I feel like it's so cookie cutter. And actually, the funny thing is, and I'm only saying this because he's right behind me right now, but the guy who kind of put that bug in my head to ask the follow-up questions is my dad, who happens to be right behind me.
Nice.
Because we used to do a show back in the day where we had on guys like Bucky Dent, and it became really, he was asking all the questions. And I'm like, how is he doing this? And then it kind of got trickled into me, ask the follow-up questions, ask the questions that most people won't ask. But enough of the pleasantries. Obviously, check all of us out. But unfortunately, I was not able to make a graphic, but I'm going to have a graphic out tonight for this announcement. And you know what? Since you guys are on here, how about I let you guys make the announcement?
All right. So the big announcement is John's show is going to be joining us on H&H Entertainment, which is our main page for the shows that we have. And we're going to be featuring him now on our platform. And we do have a YouTube, Spotify, we have X, as well as our Facebook. And he's also going to be joining us for the launch of I-86 After Dark coming this fall in September. I'm
looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the funny thing is, people who are watching this are going to be seeing me now. It's funny, when I started this, it was 1 hour once a week. Now, come the fall, it's going to be 3 days a week for whatever amount of time. But it's just the funniest thing is that, just having this. So I believe I appreciate it a lot. It means a lot. That, and like I said, guys, go check out Buffalo After Dark. Go check out Around the Ropes. We are going to bring you extensive coverage, not only of the sports world, but of the pro wrestling world. And the one big similarity that I'll put it to you this way, the one thing that you're going to get from both shows, stuff that you're going to sit there and go, I can't believe they said it, but we're also gonna say it as is.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. We don't sugarcoat anything. We don't give a crap who says, oh, this guy sucks. Oh, I love him. How dare you ask him that question? Let me put it this way. Bite me.
Well, I'll put it. I worked I've had guests already who've said this to me. In the years of doing this show, that they hate coming on podcasts where the people ask, as one person put it, the Google questions.
Mhm.
And I've heard that so many times, and it got engaged into me. I'm like, you know what? I'm having somebody on. I don't want to have them on and be like, well, what got you into pro wrestling? You can Google that.
Right.
Like, I'll give a prime example. And this sort of combines both worlds here. There's a wrestler over in AEW named Camille,
Mhm.
who used to wrestle in the NWA. We had her on the show 2 years ago. And we asked her, because my thing I always ask guests is, well, what do you want us to talk? What do you want us to not talk about? Like, is there something you don't want us to mention? 'Cause
Sure.
even though we're willing to say it as is, we don't want to put a guest in that position, if that makes sense. So
Right.
I remember we asked her, and she goes, oh, don't talk about me going to the bigger companies. So I said, okay, fine, not a problem. We found out she was a softball player, college softball player. And we asked her, and yes, that's, by the way, guys, that's what you're hearing this thunder right now.
Okay. I was gonna say.
And we asked her, we're like, well, what was the transition like from softball to pro wrestling? So that's the type of stuff you're going to get from us. And we said this before, this is a perfect mesh almost, because how many times do you see sports fans who are pro wrestling fans, and how many times do you see pro wrestling fans that are sports fans?
I think it's a mixture, because I think it really just depends who you talk to. Because I think the funny thing is, I actually, not to get off track here, there was a video that I saw maybe a week ago where the comparison is that hockey, for example, is like wrestling, because both of the sports have their own storyline, they have their own rivalries, they have their own crowd, they have their own persona. Everybody has different personalities. And I just found that part infatuating, because of the idea that I think back on it and I said, that very well could be true. Like, you could talk about something like, just for example, just pulling out of my ass here, Undertaker versus Kane or something like that. And everybody talked about that rivalry for many, many years. It's almost similar in a way like that. Like, like with Kane and Undertaker, it could be said with like the Rangers and the Islanders. It's a very similar, rivalry. They're both intense. They're both, willing to go the distance to make sure that they win and they have the bragging rights.
It's funny you just said that. My dad just said something to me here that's actually kind of an interesting thing. The biggest difference, though, is hockey's not predetermined.
It's never predetermined at all. And it's funny because I know a lot of people who watch wrestling, but a lot of them I know will either say to me that it's either the most intense thing ever, or they're so passionate that they're under the delusion that it's not fake by any means. Like, I know that there are certain things in wrestling that are real, but I know there are certain things in it that could be faked and, scripted and all that stuff. But
like we said, I'll put it this way. The line I've heard for years, and we'll wrap this up in a few minutes here, is pro wrestling is the male soap opera.
Mhm.
That it's like General Hospital or Days of Our Lives or any of those soap operas that are still on the air, which I think I just named the only two that are still on the air.
Yeah, there's not many these days.
So it's just one of those things. But guys, again, in case you're just joining us right now, or you're watching this later on, or you're watching us on, or you're listening to this on the 800 platforms, you can find both Around the Ropes and I-86. But as of, are we setting an official date, or is it as of today?
As of September 3rd will be the pilot episode of I-86 After Dark at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so guys, that's where you guys can catch, and obviously we'll keep reminding you guys throughout the summer and all that stuff. But guys, as Around the Ropes grows and Around the Ropes becomes something, you guys are gonna be the first ones to know this. And guys, I don't sit here, and I'll wrap this up with this. I don't sit here week in and week out busting my hump for nothing. There's a reason why, and I don't know if you guys know this, but on Facebook it tells you how you're doing views wise. Like if you guys post stories and everything, and I check that literally once a day now at midnight. I become obsessed with the numbers, and all I can say is the numbers for Around the Ropes are getting bigger, are getting much bigger, and it's to people that are noticing the show. People, and one thing I've heard, and Tom, you said it before, you're not a big wrestling fan. Bobby, you said it before also that you're not. But you know how many people I've come in contact with who have said, I'm not a big wrestling fan, but listen to us, I can follow, because not that we simplify it, but we don't try to come off like we're a Dave Meltzer, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of Dave.
Like, we don't try to come off like, oh, we're a journalist, we know what we're, no. We come off as a fan. The show is made by the fan for the fan.
Yeah.
We just happen to have a platform, and we just give you guys our opinion. And this could be a fun journey. Guys, again, the news, obviously, again, I'll have a graphic out later. And Tom, I'll send it to one of you guys if you guys want to post it.
Of course.
Is Around the Ropes and I-86 are now going to be under the same banner. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And honestly, guys, I can't wait for this. And time for us to kick ass and take names.
Yeah, you bet. And just to let you know, I mean, once we kick off in September, we have some big name interviews already lined up. And if you look at some former NHL players, we also have a current UFC star that's going to be joining us actually for our season debuts. So get ready, guys, because we're going to have a lot of fun on this show together.
Absolutely. And I know especially the UFC one I'm really looking forward to, because that's actually what's funny is, Tom, you bring that up, that's actually the one crossover right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'll be a second time joining us as well. So we're looking forward to it. I mean, it was great the first time we had him, and I want to say it was the beginning of season 4 when we had him on our Buffalo After Dark, and now to bring him in for our first season of I-86, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, I'm looking forward to it. I know Bob's looking forward to it. I know you are as well. And hey, we're going to make some great stuff together, guys.
Absolutely. And guys, again, check out both Around the Ropes, I-86. Check out I-86 for all your latest news on anything New York sports, and actually more national sports now also.
Yeah, we've evolved. We've evolved.
And if you do care about the Buffalo Sabres, definitely check them out there.
I told the Sabres front office I'm not buying season tickets anytime soon with the way they've been playing.
Tell them the truth. Tell them what you really said. Tell them what you really said.
I said their ownership right now, with how they're treating their team, sucks. The product is not worth it.
No, what did you say after the JJ Peterka trade a couple of weeks ago? I want to know that. Tell everybody what you said.
Oh God! Besides me going off on about a 45-minute rant on our show and basically saying "f this" and "f that."
No, you told the Sabres, you were like, you know what? They said to you, would you like to buy season tickets? You're like, no, you could shove the season tickets up your ass.
Yeah, basically. So,
but guys, we're going to get out of here now, guys. Again, Around the Ropes comes to you guys live tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, where the topic at hand, and I'll let you guys know this as well, obviously we saw this past Friday night on SmackDown, Jelly Roll. I have to give him the proper title. 4-time Grammy nominee. I don't know why I would say Grammy nominee, because to me that tells everybody he's lost 4 times. But again, what do I know? made his sort of debut in WWE. So we're going to be talking about the best and worst celebrity involvements we have seen throughout the history of pro wrestling, going back to the days of Mr. T, Snooki, Pamela Anderson, and also, shockingly enough, that also does include people like The Rock, John Cena, and Batista as well.
Yep.
Oh, Donald Trump, another one.
Yeah, another one. He was on there. Mike Tyson was on there back in the day too. Him and
so we have that coming up. Yep, we got that coming up for you guys tomorrow. We have a plethora of interviews coming up for you guys this week, so you're not going to want to miss that as we continue to give you more of the extensive coverage of the crazy world of independent wrestling. And then also, guys, want to also make this announcement as well. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. This is what I was saying before. I'm going to be a very busy person coming up this fall. We are debuting a new show on Around the Ropes, but it's not Around the Ropes. It's Around the BCW world, which is our look at the crazy world of Brie Combination, which is a company down in New Jersey. So we got that debuting tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. You're not going to miss that because the person who always plays the good guy, I'm playing the bad guy Tuesday night. So you're not going to want to miss that.
Nice.
Now, I actually have a question about this show. When you say you're the bad guy in this situation, what does that mean in the context?
Basically, I am and I'll give this quick spoiler out there. Basically, we're trying to do a peace treaty between two wrestlers. And Anthony Cole, who's the promoter of this company, who's going to be my co-host, he's going to play the good guy.
You're playing the heel.
To put it more in terms that most people would, I'm playing the Jake the Snake Roberts, Vince McMahon, that type of, where I'm playing the bad guy.
I see.
And I've never played the bad guy, so this can be a lot of fun.
Oh, I love playing the villain.
Bobby,
yep, you've done that for years.
Bobby, here's the thing. I'm always the good guy.
Well, let me put it this way, and just for context, and this applies to fiction in general, is I feel like the heroes in a lot of media outlets, even in wrestling, can be dramatic. The villains don't have to pretend. It's the plot. They do what they have to do, and they get the job done. That's what I like about the villain, and they make it interesting. And in terms of context, too, and this could be applied to wrestling in any sport or even in media, the villains always have the best songs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Again, catch us for that tomorrow night. Like I said, we have a plethora of interviews coming up this week and so much more, guys. Again, follow us on Facebook for all your latest wrestling news and updates on what we have coming up on the show. Catch I-86 coming up this September. Tom, I'll ask you this quickly. Where can fans go back if they want to listen to previous episodes?
Yeah, so you can go to YouTube or Spotify. We are at H&H Entertainment, so go ahead and join us there. We have season 4 and 5 on Spotify. All of our stuff from the 5 seasons is on YouTube. And, of course, you can go to H&H Entertainment on Facebook and catch all of our latest news on there. So join us on all 3. We keep them up to date, and a lot of great content on everything.
Absolutely. But, guys, again, I'll just reiterate this one more time. Again, the announcement is Around the Ropes, I-86 are going to be under the same umbrella, the same banner, however you look at it. Guys, this could be fun. I can't wait to be part of this. But we are out of here. Guys, again, catch Around the Ropes tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. And if you can't catch us live, you can catch the replay. You can catch the replay of us. We're on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Just search Around the Ropes with John and Jeff. You'll find us there. But, guys, we are out of here. Around the Ropes. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
All right. See you guys.
Guys.